And we are back. Happy Monday morning. I'm the Cornbread Man. I'm the Cornbread Man Morning Show, 6:07 Eastern Standard Time. Sorry for the delay again. We're just having little things that continue to plague us this morning. Bringing one of the streams back up now. I've made a mistake on this one. Just not with it. It's a Monday, not with it. Maybe I haven't coffeed up all the way yet. I've only had a few sips, and I did get in rather late, so I think that I'm just not with it. Like maybe I'm hitting wrong buttons or something. On the first one, I know not. On the second one, maybe, just maybe, that was my fault. Welcome to the Wolf Nation Network. More than a podcast, we're a network. We have many podcasts, which are under the umbrella of the Wolf Nation Network. We hope you have a great Monday. A lot of rain over the weekend. Maybe we can dry out a little bit today. I haven't checked the weather. Shame on me. I did not. Of course, the weather could be anywhere where you're listening from. I may not have picked up on that. But for us, it was a lot of rain. Finally kind of slowed down last night. But it was a very, very busy day of rain. Sleepy day. Might have made you sleepy. We had some plans. We kind of changed them. There was a couple things that went on that people needed help with. And so we changed our plans just a little bit. And I was like, you know what? It's really kind of for the good because it is such a rainy day. It's just kind of dreary. I didn't really want to travel any on that. Sometimes you have to. And after seeing how it just kept coming and kept coming, I was glad we made the decision. Well, in the news, we'll jump in there first. We'll look at some other things here in a minute. In the news, the president says that he calls the shots on the Iran situation, that it is not Bibi Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, calling for Bibi for sure. There's been some disagreements about that. I think he's probably been stung by some people who have said that he is calling the shots and he is at the bidding of Netanyahu. I get that. There's a lot riding right now. A lot of people are there's a lot of pressure on, but I would say it this way: he does not fully call the shots on that situation for them, and they will, just like any nation, they're going to make decisions for themselves depending on their, what's going on if they're being attacked. I think both sides understand the political football that's going on right now, but the president may be overstepping just a little bit on this one. They were in partnership with this. It was always going to be TDS because one's going to sit a little different than the other. And how far do they go? Bibi doesn't have as much pressure right now politically as President Trump does, and you're seeing that he's becoming a little testy. Let's say, no matter how they were reacting or what they were saying, he walked out of the interview. Seems the pressure is building a little bit, and I know he's frustrated. And I have said for some time, it's Dave's opinion, that his foreign policy legacy is riding on a lot what's going on right now, and he may be simply just he may actually be running out of time on some of that. There's going to be pressure. He doesn't want to walk away from it for sure. He wants to continue to make the right moves here, and for the yeah, again, I know what people are going to say. Yes, and I've said if you're going to do it right. It's going to take a little longer. It was never going to be a quick trip. A lot has been accomplished. A lot more can be accomplished. It's not being negative. It's just a truth that it was never going to be. They're not the top people to wave the white flag pretty quickly. So at what the point is what line in the sand are you going to draw? Is it going to be we've dealt a blow and then move, or is it going to be we're going to make sure the waterway of the Strait of Hormuz is cleared, then we move? Or are we going for it all? We're going for the touchdown. We're not moving the line. We're not settling for the first down. We're settling for it all. And it seems as though he wants that all, and it's going to take a little more time. But the pressure is working on them, but it as well, much greater than it is on us. But he's a little testy about that. So there's been a couple of news sources that said these calls have become explosive, and some some hollering and screaming maybe, and some cussing. So these things are going to happen. It does happen, and it's not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last. Um, Last night, the missiles were flying to different places, but Israel was one of those. They were knocking them out of the sky, mostly, is what I understand. But he, you know, he being the president warned or urged is a better word, the one they used, Netanyahu to not retaliate. This is not the. I remember when the planes were, getting ready to go strike Iraq back in the day, and they said, let us take the lead here. It is a region. He doesn't want to blow up the Abraham Accords. These countries are going to go ride with it to a point because they don't like Iran anyway. But when it starts hurting them as bad as it's hurting them financially, and goods and services can't get through, I mean, at some point, some of them are going to start, maybe drawing back just a little bit. So there's a lot to handle here. I have great respect. We think back to D-Day and all that Eisenhower was under and the pressure of that. The coalition, which his generals didn't always like that because they wanted to do American interests, but he was holding together a great coalition. In that way, the president is holding together a coalition of nations against them. It is not just us; there are others that are involved, and he is trying to do that. So the Israelis did strike some. The Houthis, the little Houthis. They were all in the news. They were all the rage in the Middle East a few months ago. Remember the Houthis? And a few bombs got dropped on them, and you didn't hear from them for a while. They wanted to become part. They want to get back in the news. So the Houthis have joined the fight. They're helping, assisting their brothers in Iran, and I'm certain that there will be some strategic strikes on the Houthis, and I suspect that they will go back in the hole they came out of. But they just so want to be a part of the terror neighborhood. They really do. And not that they can't deal a blow here and there, but they're the little terror group that could. They want to, they try to, but they just can't get. And isn't that the way it is over there? All the different terror groups try to rise to be the terror group. Hamas has been dealt a tremendous blow. They're certainly not the lead terror group anymore. Hezbollah has been taking it on the chin pretty hard from the Israelis. And they're, still probably the number one. There are many of them, the people for the liberation of Palestine. And you could probably name, there's probably 100 splinter groups, but there's probably 15 to 20 that have some sort of viable, means of support. They're decent size. They get money, a lot of them from Iran. And they claim their place in the terror, network. They always want to go out and claim when they've done something. The Houthis are in, and they want to be. They see an opportunity to rise up here. They could be above. They could move. They're probably looking around and going, well, Hamas is not very big. It's not near as big as they were. Hezbollah is being knocked down some shots. Let's go get our name back out in the news. Let's go strike Israel a few times, and we'll show strength here. And so they're all of the same ilk, mainly, but they want to be a part of that. The president also said he won't unfreeze Iranian assets or lift sanctions until a deal is completed. He told NBC, Meet the Press, he would consider the steps after an agreement comes after. Yeah, if they behave, if they do a good job, we start talking. Yeah. He stopped short. He also said he was not demanding that Lebanon be a part of a short-term deal with Tehran. He said the United States would work with Iran to secure and destroy its stockpile of highly enriched uranium if the two countries reach an agreement to end the conflict that began 3 months ago. Absent a deal, the U.S. would continue military operations against Iran and would seek to secure the material after degrading Iran's military capabilities. If we make a deal that now we're friendly, we'll all go together. It'll be our equipment. We'll take it out and destroy it. The nuclear dust, as he calls it. He said in an interview on, again, Meet the Press. He said the United States would proceed with or without Iran's cooperation, but added that U.S. personnel would not operate in areas where they are under attack. He said military action will continue if an agreement is not reached. Almost sounded like we're going to put some boots on the ground somewhere. Just saying. They also have the capability, us being the United States, to monitor Iran's nuclear facilities under space-based surveillance. He said the two sides are very close. We went close to an agreement. Now we're very close to an agreement. Very close. Hey, James. Good morning to you. God bless. To an agreement, but he's seeking additional language to prevent Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons to purchase or acquisition. Who do you call for the nuclear supply house? You look through the, the little, I don't want to say a business name. We all know some of them. Look through the catalog. Oh, yes. Section 24D, nuclear capability. Let's order some things up. Get them on the ship on the way over here. Shopping. Everybody's shopping, bringing up. I mean, what a world we live in, My granddaughter calls me yesterday. I'm doing some work yesterday afternoon. Could you have delivered? So you go on the site, you scroll down there, you type in, I was getting something we needed, a couple things. Okay, it'll be there in a little while. And they go online, they have the little nuclear page, they go there, yes, we need this. I can just see the mullahs and all, and someone cautioning it. It's just for energy. We cannot order this other part here. I know nothing. I see nothing. I hear nothing. I say nothing. We're ordering all of it. You would think we could stop that, but there's a lot of people that would sell them things. I mean, but how many people have the nuclear stuff just laying around for sale? Abdul sitting in Houthi land. Ah, yes, we have that equipment. You transfer money, we will. It'll take a year. We have to go through many back channels. A few of them have been destroyed, but we have some others. We're paying people off right now. We have a few ships flagged for good. They're supposed to be carrying rice, grains. It'll have your nuclear material underneath. Good Lord. Or acquisition. I mean, maybe they just take over an area, We have a couple of points the president said. They've conceded the fact that they will not have nuclear weapons. Mr. President, please, like the old song, Mr. President, they've crossed their fingers behind their back. Oh, yes, Mr. President. No nuclear weapons. No, never. We've learned our lesson. We bad boy. We won't do that. Never again. You have our word on it. We're in full agreement. No more. Come on, man. That may sound good as a press point. We know better. We know in whom we're dealing with here. They've conceded the fact that we will not have nuclear weapons. You are right, Mr. President. We concede. You are correct, sir. We misspoke. You are calling the shots. We heard you talk to the Israelis. We understand. He said they initially objected to the proposed language, but later dropped the opposition. But they're going through. See, they're going down through line items. You will not. What is all in the agreement? We get these points of agreement. We've had these points. And they were going into Gaza. Now, don't hear anything about it anymore. It's 21 points of agreement. That got down to about 15 because Hamas kept saying, "We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it." We have 21 points of things that they must agree to. Well, it's really 19 now. 16. Wait a minute, it's 15. Hold on. 15. We got an agreement. We haven't never heard more about it. So now we have the list going to the Iranians, to the Pakistanis. That's the only way we can talk to them. Or there may be another group, but the Pakistanis. The Pakistan looks at it and go, "What's the offer?" They'll never agree to this. Send it on. They read it. They're going down. Tell the Pakistanis, we can't agree to any of this crap. We got a big problem with number 8. It says we can't have. You got to strike that out of the language. Just draw a line through it and initial it. Send it back and tell them to initial it. This is over. Strike it. We're not going to agree to that. Well, tell them we agree to it. We'll draw the line. He said he views Iran's new leadership as more rational. By the way, who is the leadership? He says new. I've been saying for some time, we're dealing, again, who are we dealing with? This is not the damaged leader down in the bunker, deep in the bunker, that only, probably different couriers. They probably kill the courier every time there's a courier taking, he's killed. He gets the new one, way right here. Tap to the head, they send a new courier. I don't want nobody knowing where he's out. So they take it out and give it to somebody else. Run this back. I just see a guy running across the rocky, sandy hilltops, mountainous regions, running like a Pony Express. Hands off to the next guy. He runs till they get to somebody with a phone. Do you have a phone? I have a satellite phone. That'll work. I must call the RGC. We have a new agreement. But who are you dealing with? You're dealing with somebody in the south of the country, maybe an area of the country where it hasn't been hit much. They're over there sipping margaritas. They're happy. In Tehran, they never learn. We're going to be quiet down here. Yeah, they're getting ripped. We'll wait till all this over. Yes, they call him. They call somebody. Are you in charge? Who's in charge of Iran? Well, I am. Who are you? Mohammed, of course. Okay. We have another agreement from the United States. Oh, sure. Send it over. I'll agree to it. I mean, why not? I'm the new leader here. It's the Alexander Haig problem. I'm in charge here. No, you're not. He said they're following the strikes by Israel and the United States that had killed former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, several senior officials. Trump said Khamenei's son, this guy's supposed to be injured, damaged. He said he'd be open to speaking with him directly. What are we going to fly him in, roll out the red carpet? Remember they let, what was it? I just went blank, the one they killed, over there in Libya. Remember they was camping in like Central Park or something in tents? I don't know if they had the camels. They had the tents out there. They wouldn't let him stay in the normal things. They were Gaddafi camping in the tents. Put him on the south lawn, far away. Keep the camels. Make them behave. We don't want to hear anything about them. We'll meet them out in the Rose Garden for tea. He said that he's younger, more pragmatic than his father. Doesn't the president understand the mafia way? It's Michael Corleone. Sure, we understand. He's all the time he's planning to get them. He's injured. Sure, all of a sudden he's like, yeah, we got a deal. Sure, Mr. President, whatever you say. He declined to say whether he knows the Iranian leader's current location, but said there's a good probability that he does. See, that really be the thing we're talking about? Mr. President, don't be saying those things. That was Israeli and that was Mossad information. He said the U.S. will also attempt to redirect Iranian assets to Gulf states for rebuilding and repairs of damage caused by Iran. The source familiar with the matter said as Tehran followed it by a wave of strikes against Kuwait, Bahrain, with further drone launches. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has directed a team to assess costs for damage inflicted on Gulf allies by Iran. This will be not only for damage, but for payoff. Good morning, broski. We'll cut a little off for the damage. We'll slice a little off for the leader of this country. And they'll be getting payoffs. The disclosure came a day after motion Rezai, an advisor to Iran's supreme leader, told CNN that a peace deal to end the 3-month-old war hinged on the release of $24 billion in Iranian assets frozen by the United States. We want our money. I get so tired of the people emailing me, contacting me on social media and going, all the way back to Obama. It was their money, David. It was their money. We owed it to them. I don't give a rip. I don't care how much. I don't care what we promised. I don't care. I have a long memory, and I remember 1979, and I don't even care what was going on then. I've heard people complain about that. When you inflict harm on the American citizens, we're going to do something. It's payment for that. I don't care. They're not honorable. We're not giving it back. Let's say what's ours. Remember what was the movie? The president says, "That's our money." Well, they might want a portion of it. I mean, go down, negotiate. That's our money. At this point, I don't really care. I mean, that's is it that war? I mean, when you have war, you take. I mean, seriously. I mean, we're the only country in the world that does this. We're the only country in the world that negotiates the return of anything like that after a war. I mean, we just take it. I would just say, you're not getting it back. We're gonna do some other things with that money. That's part of the deal. Sign. I don't think that when the Japanese boarded the ship for the signature, I don't think there was any talk about, we did do some rebuilding. We paid for that, but I don't think, the assets in the bank. Oh yes, we'll turn that over to you. No, they made them come out there and get on the ship. I think that's what they ought to do here. I've said it before. This deal, I'll tell Pakistan, you tell the Iranians to meet us on the flight deck of the USS whatever's out there. They can come out in one of their little speedboats under our guard, and they'll come on board the ship, and we'll have cameras there, and we'll set up, and you will sign there. What is this modern day courier thing? And somebody saying we got an agreement? No, that's not the way this works. That's right, broski. I remember the mafia. We got to have the show. We got the dog and pony show. We got to bring them out, load them on the ship. Heads down, pen in hand. Everybody watches them sign. You have the guy read it. Hear ye, hear ye. We're here today for the signing of the surrender of Iran. They agree to every point on this list. And we're here to make sure that it happens. I just don't care about what them. State sponsor of terrorism. How many lives have they destroyed? Again, hold the nation. If that's Israel, hold them accountable. But make them pay for it. If they went above and beyond, then make them pay. Why do we give them money back? I could care. I've always liked playing that character in games and stuff. I'm that guy, like, you will pay. It's ours. Oh, the source did not specify what kind of assets the Treasury was examining. The language used to describe the new measures did not appear limited to frozen assets. It sounds like something coming out of the freezer. The frozen assets, The threat to redirect Iranian assets could create a new irritant. An irritant? Who wrote this? An irritant. I think we call that teed off. Irritant? To a fragile ceasefire between the United States and Iran, which was tested again this weekend with strikes by both nations. Peace negotiations appear to have stalled. Of course they've stalled. They don't want peace. Although a minister from a mediator, again, Pakistan, traveled to Tehran on Saturday with a letter for Iran's supreme leader, Iran's semi-official, partly official. ISNA news agency reported. U.S. forces struck Iranian coastal radar sites in Guruk, Qasem Island, both in the Strait of Hormuz, early on Saturday. Why do they have control of any island right now? Honestly, I would have already taken those islands. I said, get out. Now get out. You get the islands back when you play ball. There you go, Brusky. Let's see here. It says that Sitcom said that the drones posed a threat to maritime traffic. 2 more Iranian attack drones were threatening shipping in the Strait. Were shot down. The United States military said late on Saturday. The or the Iran's Revolutionary Guard, said it retaliated against U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain, and Kuwait's army said it engaged 7 ballistic missiles that passed over residential areas, resulting in material damage but no casualties. In Bahrain, sirens sounded. The residents were urged to seek shelter. Kuwait and Bahrain condemned the strikes. Iran later said it had hit the U.S. bases in both countries with ballistic missiles, but the U.S. military said 6 missiles were intercepted and a 7th did not reach its target. The U.S. and Iran have engaged in largely indirect negotiations for an interim deal to halt the 3-month-old war that would leave issues including Iran's nuclear program to further negotiations. But a deal has remained elusive. The two sides have periodically skirmished. Tehran wants to access billions of dollars in oil revenue. I would say, I'd just take card. Go ahead and be loading the oil there. I'd tell them, we're going through, we're escorting with the U.S. military your oil. It's now ours. We're filling up ship after ship, and it's going to the U.S. That's what I tell them. You have no choice here. You either play ball or it's over. I mean, you have to. They're not going to understand anything else. Now you're in like Flynn. You're in that deep. You're neck deep in this stuff. You're buried up to your neck. You have to play it that way. Just amazing to me that they say that Iran has blocked the waterway. We have the ability. I just don't. The nations of the world should be clearing the waterway, telling Iran, go kick rocks. He said most of Iran's drone and missile manufacturing facilities have been destroyed. The Iranians still had access to about 1/5 of their missiles. How many? Wasn't many. Well, the president told him he's calling the shots. Don't do it. So that'll only work for so long, and then it'll be Katie bar the door. He said percentage-wise, maybe 21 to 22% of their missiles. It's a lot of missiles, but it's not what it was when we first attacked. So still probably a few thousand. I'm throwing that in, a few thousand. I don't know what their total was to begin with. Israel's military said on Sunday it intercepted 2 projectiles that crossed into Israeli territory from Lebanon. The attempted attack came a day after Lebanon said 2 army officers and a soldier were killed in an Israeli strike on a military vehicle in South Lebanon. And the continued attacks go on. These articles kill me. Look, everybody's trying to get out of this deal right now. Nobody wants it anymore. But who's going to come out on top? It's all just who can say we got the bigger hand here. Because barring a ground invasion, which we're not going to do, we're gonna get to some kind of point here, and that point will be what can each side live with. What can we all walk away with and say they want to be able to walk away and say we took on the Yankee aggressor. They don't. We still have this or we still have that. The president walks away and says, "Look at the damage we dealt. They won't be able to do anything for a heck of a long time, and I, your president, Donald J. Trump, have done this." Going back to my program First Light this morning, there's a lot of ego here, a lot of ego. It's on the highest level and the highest thing. I do not want, and I'll agree, I do not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. So deal as much of a blow as you can there, so that maybe Jesus will come back before my great-great-grandchildren never have to deal with it, hopefully. Who knows? It's a new day. All the puzzle pieces are coming together for the end-time events. We do know that. And we sit back and we're really just, we're in the gallery. We don't have any control over this. We're just watching. We can pray. But these things are going to keep happening, and they're going to keep happening in the region, and there's going to, till the false peace comes, for a temporary false peace. Is this that time? I doubt it, but who knows? Who knows? Could things happen in the next few months or a year or two? Sure. Any of those things could happen. But yeah, I just think it's funny, the Houthis. The little Houthis went back in the fight. Let me see what it says about the Houthis. We know what Israel and Iran is doing. I want to see where it talks about the Houthis, because they were all the rage in the Middle East at one time. They were taking on the Americans. and others in the region. Bombs were dropped on their heads, and they walked away. They went back in the hole. They popped out. Said, hey, we're the Houthis. We're here. We're ready to fight. Where's this at? Let's see. The Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels on Monday claimed an attack on Israel. They said Israel-affiliated vessels would again be a target in the Red Sea, putting the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, and the narrow strait, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, connected them in danger. The statement from Brigadier General, he throws him a big name, Brigadier General Yahya Sari. I can't take a guy serious. If I'm saying it right, I could be saying it wrong. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm sorry, I can't take a guy whose name is Yahya serious. I just can't. I'm sorry. He broadcast on the Houthis Al Mazarah satellite news channel. Again, I just have this vision of a guy sitting in a little shack somewhere underground, probably, got a little satellite dish. He's got the computer going. Hey, we have connection. We're in Starlink. We can go. We got power back. Let's get ourselves back in the fight. During the Israel-Hamas war in the Gaza Strip, the Houthis killed at least 9 mariners and sank 4 ships in over 100 attacks. See, they're not high level. They did do some damage, but they paid an awful price. They often targeted vessels with really no ties to Israel. Of course, they were hitting whatever was available. The assaults up into the shipping in the Red Sea, through which about $1 trillion of goods passed each year before the war. They also disrupted transits through Egypt's Suez Canal, which links the Red Sea to the Mediterranean. The canal remains one of the top providers of hard currency for Egypt, providing it $10 billion in 2023 as its wider economy struggles. And again, are you going to let the Houthis, are you going to let the RGC, are you going to let these people control? And this is what you ask the nations over there. Either you jump in, I know they're giving support. They just don't want to do it openly. They're condemning. They hate these people. They want them gone too, but they need to get more involved. It's in their back door, and we need, they really should have handled this already. It's their fault. The Houthis' renewed threat also comes as Saudi Arabia is relying on its east-west pipeline to export oil out through the Red Sea as an alternative to the Strait. Well, they're mad about that. Hit the Red Sea. We can't let them get the ships out. Iranian state television reported the sound of explosions being heard in Isfahan, Karag, Tabriz, and Tehran, without immediately elaborating. A witness in Tehran described hearing at least one large blast to the west of the country's capital. Iran closed the airspace around Tehran's Amin Khamenei International Airport, the country's main airfield, after the Israeli attack. And blah, 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 blah. But the Houthis, they want to get back involved. I'm expecting, he says, Russia or China step and give them a few nukes after we reach an agreement or pull there. Oh yeah, they're on the hotline. They're on the nuke hotline. They're the book they open up. Where can we shop for some new nuclear deal things? Zaza lived to age 99. The Houthis. Everybody over there wants to be the lead terror group. I mean, that's what it is. At one time, it was the Iraqi Revolutionary Guard. They were the most feared military in the region. Then you've heard about Iran's, you've heard about others, Syria's. A lot of these leaders have come tumbling down. They really have. And they're not, and now it's become the drone and missile war. That's the show. That's what it is. It's not traditional anymore. Let's just get us a bunch of missiles and drones, and we'll pin the missile on the tiger's tail, whoever that is at the time. And it is a new day. It is a new battlefield tactic. It is, those things that's going on. Hey, Daryl, God, thank you for the light, my friend. Bless you. Midnight Rider. So yeah, it gets the little man some cred. God help if they ever had they were nuclear tipped. I mean, that's why I say people will say, David, they don't have the missile capability to hit the United States. I don't care. They have enough missile capability to hit bases that we have in the region. Last I checked, that's our soil. We're sitting on it, and we have assets there, namely the American soldier. We have ships sailing all around. Do they have a missile capability to strike those? Yes. I care less about that. So we're going to wait until they have the capability. Maybe they already have it. Maybe they don't. They keep getting better. Abib, go tell the Supreme Leader. We now think we have a missile that can reach the United States. Oh, yes, let's celebrate. Let's launch one and test it. I mean, are we going to wait for that? The heck with these people. I could care less. I love the Iranian people. I don't love these people. These people I could care less about. Let them kick rocks. I mean, if you're going to do it right. But nobody, I mean nobody except like-minded, fellow terror groups want them people to have any kind of nuclear capability. They don't care. They don't play by the same rules. All of them, they're all like that. It's kind of like going back to mafia. I mean, all the families are different. These people are the most radical. They are. And everybody's vying for the terror dollars. Iran has used their funds to buy weapons. I mean, how many people have been blown up? How many bullets have been fired on innocent people just because of who they are? That was paid for by Iranian money. And again, going back to the pallets of cash, I don't care if it was their money. This is me. I don't care. That does not bother me one bit. It's funny how when people want to defend their position, then they get, that was their money. We should have given that money back. Wait a minute. He who has it, has it. Again, going back to, if you're not playing by the rules, we can always stop the flow. We can turn taps off. We can stop money going. We can stop transfers. This is the power we have. You're blowing people up. Well, we're just not going to give you the money. We say, well, we made a deal. We made an agreement. Well, you broke the agreement. The last line in any deal you make with a terror nation, the last line should always say, we reserve the right to withhold anything we've agreed to here if you're acting like an idiot or if you're killing people or however you want to word it. It's at the United States discretion. If you're killing Americans, you're killing other people in the region, we reserve the right to not give your money back. Sign it. It's amazing. We got to honor the deal. No, we don't. No, we do not. What deal? You broke the deal. Yeah, have you ever had a contract? There's always a way to break the contract. Every contract that's ever been written is a way to be broke. You work in business, you'll find this out. There's all kinds of things. They work in security. Security has an agreement too, and they'll break those agreements. If they get a cheaper price, they'll break those agreements. They'll go to the other company. They'll pay the penalty. They don't care. You know what? We're breaking it. We're not doing business with you. We got a better deal over here. I'm not saying we shouldn't be honorable. What I'm saying is the honor is resting on them. There's two parties involved here. And the one party has been killing people. Should have never made a deal with them anyway. It was a stupid deal. But any deal and this deal should be the same way. Any deal we have should be on, we're watching you, we're monitoring you, we're going to be electronically surveilled. There's going to be all kinds of ways we're watching you. And you get out of line, you can tear this agreement up, and we'll light you up again. I mean, that has to be the deal. They don't respect anything else. Anybody that thinks that they're playing by, I've had the same people tell me they already made an agreement not to bomb anybody with a nuclear weapon. And you trust that? These people? Sure, tell them whatever they want. This is the way of that region. Yasser Arafat perfected it. He absolutely would tell you anything you wanted to hear to get a deal. And when he turned to his people in Arabic, he would say, don't worry, it's all a lie. We're not honoring any deal. Well, sometimes there were people in his area that would, or among his, region that would say, you made a deal with it. No, don't worry. We're just telling them what they want to hear. I mean, that's the way he operated. And that's the way it is in that region. They'll tell you anything to make the deal. Anything. And on the terror level. I mean, maybe in all of it. It's a cultural thing. They don't care. It's to advance their cause. If they can lie It's acceptable to lie. There's no honor among that. If they can advance their cause by lying, they will do it in a New York minute. They don't care. But people are just well, we made a deal. We should honor it. Well, I mean, it'd be like saying we have an agreement on cattle, but you shot my kid. Sorry, cattle deal over. Expect retaliation, because that's what they've been doing. But people don't care because a lot of that terror, a lot of it, and everybody wants to. And nowadays, we're living in this world where everything is one sided. No matter what anybody thinks of Israel, it's really secondary. Because if you just look at it from their side, that what they will say is all this stuff is because Israel's evil and they have a right to defend. You don't have a right to be just blowing up people at pizzerias and killing innocent people. That is not no. And that's what they do. They take that and they get it through the tunnels, and they have caused terror and killed innocent babies and children and stuff like that for decades, and they'll keep doing it. They pay for it. They love it. They relish it. They celebrate it. This is who you're dealing with. They don't have the same value of our life that we have. These people could care less. They would celebrate our destruction today. They would be jumping up and down with joy. We understand these people hate us. They're our enemies. And no, we don't want to be continually at war. And a lot of people have left the president because they say he agreed. Well, sometimes you have to do what you don't want to have to do. For whatever reason he did it. Is it self-serving? Sure. Is it serve his ego? Sure. But he's also taken a lot of heat when he didn't have to do that. But if it makes it a world a little safer place for my grandkids and great grandkids, and go for it. Let's knock it out. Well, there is that. I mean, when you get to, they always talk about, crossing over into the jihad, the oral writings of Muhammad, and then it is acceptable to make deals that you're never going to honor because that advances the cause. And so, anyway, it just cracks me up. I've got people that I've known for decades who, and they think they're telling me something that I don't know. It's always funny. They're going to educate Dave. And listen, I'm not saying I know everything, and I agree. I appreciate things coming in, but it's very condescending. It's not, hey, Dave, how you doing? Oh, by the way, did you know? I know it's never that way. It's always smart aleck. I get this. It's not every day, but it's pretty often that I get emails, that I get posts on social media, and like, oh, I need to unlock you. You don't understand. That was their money. We owed that money back to them. We had to get that money. The president's just lying about all that. That was, I don't care. I don't care. And it just fascinates me that people are so ready to jump in a terror regime's backyard and be waving the flag of support for them. Really? Why? And if you hate Israel, fine. That's your freedom to do so. But why would you go over and join the opposition? The people that would love to watch your family be destroyed. They hate you. They would dance on your grave. They would rub the blood of your children on their faces and so on. Why would you wave the flag of support for them? I can't stand them in that way. I want the president to defend us from that. In a missionary way. I want to see souls saved. There's evil out there, and we have to address the evil. You don't let the people that make the threat come in your home, so to speak, and wage war in your home. No, you defend your home. We still want that to stop, but we still want to reach them. There have been terrorists that became Christians, absolutely. But you don't let them destroy you while they're, when they're waging war against you. You have to stop that. Why would it just baffles me why they would jump in the parade down the street and wave the flag for the enemy just because they hate these other people that much. Listen, Broski, I want to say you've been very balanced in this. We don't always agree, and that's fine because never everybody's going to agree on a lot of things. But I have heard you be balanced in this. Is he said, I don't like either one. I can accept that. I know there's been things that have been done. Whoop, screen popped up. I know there's been things that have been done that have not been of the right. there, it can be brutal. This is a brutal region, and Americans largely have not understood this region at all. They really haven't. They have we have failed. Many administrations have failed to realize just how bad this place is, and how it operates, and what they respect and what they don't. Our soldiers on the ground, the leaders on the ground, understood how things work. They had to learn that quickly on the fly. And they learned, and I've talked to many, many, many veterans who had leadership roles. And, you learn to make deals to help deals happen, because without it, you got nothing. And we're dealing with people like that. Call it the lesser of the two evils, but they're both evil in many cases. There are some that are very, pretty docile, the Kurds. There are those. But as we're talking about dictatorships and regimes, these people all come from basically the same premise. I mean, our biggest friend in the region, Saudi Arabia, outside of Israel, Saudi Arabia. Look at the things they have done, and how they have treated people, what they've done in the press, and all this stuff. These are the people that we do deals with usually. These are our friends in the region. We sell them military equipment. These people are not our friends. They don't like us. We've made deals, and that's been our policy, is to deal with what we consider as he said there, they're more pragmatic. They're not as not as angry or as evil as this one. The next leader, you can talk to him a little bit more. I think he understands that. His language there suggested he understands that. Oh yeah, there's a lot. There sure is. There sure is. Most people don't feel secure with themselves unless they take a side. They need a group of others to say views. Well, true, and I'm always I try to take I've always said it this way, the 60,000-foot view on these things. And if you get down in the weeds, it's easy to get kind of lost in it. And sometimes we're the evil. It just doesn't want to work today. It's okay. It's been that kind of morning. It's a Monday. We won't let it win. But it just amazes me that people, would want to join forces, so to speak, with not the Iranian people, who are beautiful for mostly. There's evil everywhere at every level, but this leadership, they're evil, and they're nobody to be trusted. And Iranians that are living here and are citizens, and they're like, you can't do. I mean, they're screaming like, don't trust these people. We know them. We know what we're dealing with here. These are bad people. And I get it. You're making a deal with a bad person. You're trying to get as best a deal you can. Then you move on and hope you don't have to address it for a heck of a long time. But it'll come back around again, and it's going to happen again. And there's going to be problems. There's absolutely going to be problems that are going to arise back up, because every time you beat one down, they'll eventually come back around. And somebody will take over. There'll be a regime change or whatever, and they'll pop back up, and you have to deal with it. And that's, and again, we're protecting interest in the region. Sure we are. Sure it's money. Sure it's oil. All those things. Absolutely it's that. People act like we don't understand either. We follow the money. Absolutely it's all those things. But if for the protection of those, we stop someone from having a nuclear weapon, that would absolutely drop it on whoever and cause the chaos to the world, we don't want to ever see that again. Ever. We do not want to see that. And yes, Israel has nuclear weapons. They've never admitted that they have it. And they haven't been dropping it on their neighbor. I mean, they would if they had to for their very survival. I'm certain of it. But they don't go around dropping nuclear bombs. I mean, we could say that. People can hate them all they want. But they don't go around dropping, we've not seen the mushroom cloud over other surrounding, enemies, people that don't like them. Common sense is do not trust people who worship Steve. Again, there is a different, I think it's safe to say that the value upon life is just seen different in many places and regions. And it's like I was talking about the Chechens. Oh my gosh, man! Russia's found out. Russia has found out absolutely how brutal the Chechens are. I mean, you're talking about a warlike people who just they'll continue to come at you and come at you and come at you. And it has Russia's still dealing with they're still dealing with the effects of that. Those people might be nice to you, but one on one. But keep in mind, these same people can be easily controlled and militarized by their daddy. So, well, that's true. Absolutely, absolutely. And we see that he was such a nice guy. He was a good worker, and all of a sudden he just grabbed the weapons and he went on a killing spree. I mean, we see that a lot, don't we? I mean, and they always call it radicalized, or is it maybe the switch is just being flipped? Is it just that they start listening to a certain almond, or is it was always there and they're just waiting for the right moment? I mean, there's a question. I don't have all the answers to that, but I will say that it's happening more and more inside of our country, and it is a threat to us. It is a threat internally, and it's certainly a threat to us outside of here. And listen, if we're going to have bases in the region, if we're going to have bases and around the world, we have to defend those bases. That's our people. And if that means we have to do actions like this, then we do. But those are American sons and daughters. We have a responsibility to protect them from ground invasion, internally, and that's hurt us before. We've trusted the wrong people, and through the air, and we've lost sons and daughters because of attacks by these kind of groups. It's happened in the recent past, and we have a responsibility. It's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous business, as Fred Thompson said in one of the movies he was in. It's a dangerous business. It really is, and it can get out of hand. As you said, it can get out of hand in a hurry, and it can. So I joke around and stuff. Listen, I want us out there as soon as we can get out there. But if we walk away right now, it's going to be a failure. It will. We're in. We're going to have to see it through. And if regime change happens with that, it's going to be ugly business. It's going to be ugly, and that's a byproduct. And hopefully the right people will get back in place. And maybe, I mean, can you imagine? I suspect that's not going to happen. But can you imagine a country that would now be a friend and helping and just the peace? Good morning, Jay. The peace that would be happening in the area, that would be a blessing. Don't think that's going to happen here. I think it's going to be continued. I think both of them are drawing lines in the sand they can be comfortable with. We'll walk away with an agreement on certain things that the IAEA is going to come in and inspect. It won't never happen, and as long as they'll just move on to the next big story, and we'll kick the can down the road a little more and say we dealt a blow. I think that's kind of where we're going to be. We can't walk away with a straight close, though. That's not going to happen. They will not have the nuclear dust in their hands. It will be that'll be plant phase 2 or 4 or whatever. Thank you, Jay. That will be another phase to this that will be very limited. They might let it. It'd be like remember the Iraqis. They let them around by the nose. Oh, go look over here. This is a place we had them. Or they have them, whatever. Anyway, it's a game. It really is. It's a deadly game. But it is a game that we play in the Middle East, and it's who is our friend this week or this year or this decade. Iraq's not our friend, even though all what's happened over there, they're not our friend. In fact, we've just recently told American citizens to get out of Iraq. It's dangerous. These people are not our friends. Syria, it's not our friends. They're working with us to a degree. They're not our friends. We're not sitting down sipping coffee, in Damascus and making business deals and everything's good. No, it's a dangerous game. Very dangerous. Saudi Arabia is not our friend. They're not. They're not. The only country that comes close is Jordan. I don't count Qatar. I don't count. They're all just rich sheiks that it's a business deal for them. and maybe they don't want to be involved in all of that. But to say that they're our friends, I wouldn't say that. But Jordan has consistently been against a lot of these groups. I mean, they're the ones that kicked the PLO out of their country. They kicked them the heck out. They do have existing agreement. They had agreements with Israel a lot longer than the Abraham Accords. There has been a lot of things that have been done back and forth between the nations over the last few decades. After there was a time of war, the Hashemite kingdom has it's I would say it's the closest thing that we have to a friend there. But there can be missteps, and we have to be careful with that. But that would be the closest, I would say. There may be some others that are just more concerned with making lots of money. Really, maybe don't even have a big military or anything or nothing like that. But it'd be very small. It's few and far between. But look at Yemen. Look at these places like that. There's no friends there, and it's going to be a hotbed of war in the future. We know this biblically. It's a region that's going to be the blood is going to flow. So in the short run, we may get some agreements here. It may calm a little bit, but it's all going to center on Israel. Jerusalem is a burdensome stone. It's going to continue, and no, Israel's not going to be destroyed. That's not going to happen. All those that are wishing they would be, it's not going to happen. But they're going to have a lot of damage done to them in the future, because we see that in the scriptures that half of Jerusalem will be taken. It's in a future date. It's going to be ugly, but they will never ever be completely taken over. It never happen. And then God comes to their defense, and the nation will repent, and the world will stand down. The enemies of God will stand down. He will have the last say. We ain't got there yet, but we're headed that way. And Christians know this. You know your Bibles. You know that. I say that Israel, and specifically Jerusalem, and specifically that Temple Mount area, that's the radar center of the world. Everything that happens there reverberates across the world. It's like a pebble into the water, and the ripple effects of that has an effect. And yes, I don't understand. And I this is another thing that kills me. They say that Christians think that Israel's governments, that we have a biblical obligation to support what Israel's. I've never said that. I love it when people put words in my mouth. I've never said that. Never said that. Never, never, never. What I've said was Israel is special to God. It always has been. And everything he's done biblically has emanated from there. There's special places and spots there, and it has a great future in the kingdom. A great future. I mean, so it's going to be the center point for a lot that's going on. Nobody's ever said that Christians support Israeli government's actions of fraud, and it's just like I don't support ours when they do evil things, or they say, well, they have pride parades down Tel Aviv streets. Well, we do here in San Francisco and other nations, Atlanta and whatever. We're the same. It's the same. It's the, and I get it. Some people would be for that. Some would be against it. But that's a lot of people say that, that like we don't understand it. Oh, we understand. I know how ruthless Mossad can be. That's how they're good. They're good because they'll get the info. They'll get their man no matter what. And they have long memories and they don't forget. They'll come after them. Absolutely. Is it not? I mean, there's a lot of strange things. There really is. Israel is a complicated situation. What we know is that God has a plan for the region, and he has a plan for everybody, including the Jewish people. And his desires for all that they would come to faith in Christ. Absolutely. It's the one who died for them. And to say there's no Jewish Christians, that's a lie. If you want me to introduce you to some, I can. And they live in Israel too. And it's tough there, even for Christians. It's tough there. And yeah, they're not serving the Lord. But never said that. But we do have the Judeo, let's say foundation of stuff. Not the rabbinical. Not the rabbinical. People think we don't understand all that. We do. We just understand that God has and listen, look at all the countries that came against him. And how many have won? How many? And there's a reason for that. It doesn't make them right in what they do. There is a plan going forward. So anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. I went over just a little bit. It's okay. It's Monday. Go to work. See you tonight. We've got 2 interviews tonight on the Dirt Report. two back-to-back chaser set up for us. We'll talk about the race at Michigan. Denny Hamlin, he's going to win the championship. I'm telling you. So I told Dean that last week. No, it's going to be ready. Hamlin's on the march. Looks like he's going to be the dude. Have I seen the huge Pride Festival in the Dead Sea Punch Bowl, Israel's largest Pride Festival? I haven't seen it, but they're very supportive of all that stuff in the country. Now, not among the Orthodox. Those groups would not be. They would hate that. But I have a friend. He was, let's say this, he was in another country, not Israel. With danger, going out at night. And he had felt like the Lord, long story short, felt like the Lord was leading him out. Dangerous, very dangerous in this area. But he went out, and scary moments. But he had a young boy approaching, and he was a rabbi's son. And he confessed to him that he was, in talking to him, that he was afraid to tell his father. He wasn't allowed to be a rabbi. He didn't want to be a rabbi. And he was afraid to tell his father that he was homosexual. And of course, he was trying to witness to him, and he prayed with him and everything. But he said my family would kick me out and away if they knew this. So there are those among that would be, but traditionally the hardliners would be against those things. But most of Israel is not religious. That's the thing. They always talk about the religion of Israel. Most of Israel doesn't have a religion. They don't follow Judaism. They might follow loosely the feast and festivals and stuff, but they're secular. You go to Tel Aviv, there ain't no. It's secular nation, very secular. It's like America is. We're becoming less evangelical and more secular every day. We still have a strong evangelical bloc here in America. But I think we can see the damage that's being done by people not having a foundation of faith, and it is becoming more secular, more lust driven, and all those things. That's another discussion. But listen, I understand all those things. It just, people think that we're ignorant of that. No, and I've never said that we have a biblical mandate to support the government of Israel. Never said that. Never. But we do support Israel existence, absolutely. And we love the Jewish people. It's like we love the Arab people. We love any people. We're to love all people. And like I said, the poor Armenian people that have been subjected to the terror that they have been subjected to, my heart goes out to them. Same as those who have suffered at the hands of a Ukrainian government or a Russian government or wherever. Sometimes the American government. We see things that have happened that are not right, and and sadly we're seeing things that are happening here. Well, sure, yeah, man, absolutely. Sure it is. Absolutely. They are of their father, the devil, who's the father of all lies, the father of lies. So yeah, it's not good, But it's people like to roll up everything into one little biscuit and say this is who you are, and they don't know that. They don't know that. We know how dark it can be. We understand as Christians. We know how dark it can be. Go to Safad in the mountains up there and witness for Jesus, and you'll find out how dark it is. But we still go. We still send people. Absolutely. Why? Because God loves everybody. He wants to see them saved. So just like we have missionaries in Cairo or Riyadh or Gaza, we'll have them in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and wherever. The Dead Sea, there's missionaries all over the world. And they're in danger sometimes because they're dealing with a lot of darkness, a lot of hatred. True. I'm not saying I like their ways or anything like that. I'm saying I love the soul. Want to see them come to faith. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. You don't let somebody bulldoze your house just because you're trying to reach them for Jesus. No, I'm going to defend my own. So absolutely. But we do have. I mean, as Jesus and the disciples did, they would go to these people. Jerusalem was not a place that Jesus was received, even in those days. They didn't want nothing to do with him. They hated him. They wanted him out of the way. So where'd he go? He went to the people that were the downtrodden, the outcasts, the people, the poor. the diseased, you know, and we all have the disease of sin, but some of them are so highfalutin they think that they're better, you know, they're above the fray, but they can't sin. That's ridiculous. But but yeah, we've seen a lot of people come to faith across from all people groups because the gospel is for all. Amen. Hey, God bless you all today. Thank you. Enjoyed it. We didn't get as wide on our discussion today, but that's okay. We'll see you tonight. Dirt Report SFP Racing Hour. A little bit after that, PNN News. We'll try to get a Wolf Nation Sports in as well. Well, the Braves are still rolling. Love it. They're doing good. It was a good race yesterday. It was a lot of things going on. Georgia Bulldogs still moving on with baseball. College World Series still moving on. Good for them. We'll try to give an update on all that. Everybody have a great day out there. Lift somebody up today. You know, somebody probably needs you to smile at them today. They might need you just tell them, you understand. They might just need a listening ear. Let's tell somebody about Jesus today, because everybody needs to know that great and wonderful story, which can help them eternally. Amen. Take care.